Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Harmony Spiritual Center. It's so great to look out and see your beautiful faces. It just really is. Hi. So we already know who we are, Harmony Spiritual Center, and what we do here. What we know for sure is that God is all, that we are individualized expressions. We have everything we need within us, source, substance, supply, meaning there's nothing outside of us. Nothing outside of us that changes what we're doing, what we can do. It's all on the inside. What we think, how we live, it's up to us. It's up to us. It doesn't seem like it sometimes, but it really is. And so last week, we talked about how to make dreams come true. That there are definite actions and things that we get to do. Because again, if we are individualized expressions, then it's obviously the things that we decide and what we think and how we bring that into being. There are 3 Ds to the actions that we take. Decide, that is the biggest thing, is just decide what, the world is so large. There's so many choices. There's so many things we want to do. So we have to make a definite decision. And sometimes we feel like, well, if I make a decision, like I'm stuck with that. Not really, because you can always change your mind, right? We do something, we head down that road, I'm not really happy with that. That's not really bringing me joy. That's my barometer, joy. It's not bringing me joy. So I'm going to let that go. I'm going to head down this road, see what's down there, see what Spirit has for me down there. So we have to make a decision. The second thing is we have to make a demand on the universe, right? A prayer. We can't just go, so one of these days God's going to drop it right on me. Yeah, as soon as you tell him to drop it right on you, then that's what's going to, or him, her, he, it, however you see it. And then the third thing is do. You got to do what's in front of you. Do. No, what's in front of you. I'm in a singing mood today. This is a good song. You have to just do something. Take a stand. Exactly. You can't just think that, Spirit or somebody's going to knock on your door and go, hey, dream showing up, knock, knock, job showing up. That's not, you got to go after it. Go out and do something. Whatever God is telling you to do, the one step, not all the steps, just the one step. It'll lead you to the next and the next and the next. Those are the 3 things. Decide, demand, do. That's it. Today's talk, because this is February and it's the love month, and I love talking about love because that's what God is. That's what it all is. And I love your meditation, and I'm going to use that in my talk in a minute, but I really loved it. It was great. Because that's what it is. It's just all about love. So my talk today is love, be here now. Love, be here now. And that is just a way in which we can remind ourselves love is always here now. It's just a way for us to consciously connect with love here now in the midst of whatever you may be doing. In the midst of teaching someone, in the midst of discussing something with someone, in the midst of trying to understand what is going on in a situation, you just call love in. Love, be here now, and speak from that place. It works every time. So when we looked at it, I talk about this for this month because it's just such a great graphic representation, and it's the map of consciousness. And when we look at love, love begins the spiritual paradigm. Before that, you're into courage and you're into reason and integrity, which is great. Reason and integrity. But reason and integrity won't get you what you need, what you want, what you can't see from here. It's the shift into the spiritual paradigm, which starts with love, which is why I'm always talking about that. And so when you're open and available, you're open and available. And every morning in my meditation, I just remind myself, that's all we're doing, reminding ourselves of who we already are and what is available to us. And so love, be here now is something is a demand that I make on the universe all the time. Be here now. So I'm not speaking from here. I'm not speaking from an ego. I'm speaking from a connected place of love. And so that's what that means. And so when we're asking love to be here now, we want love in the situation, whatever the situation may be, for love to provide the answers. Because sometimes you're looking at something, you're like, I don't know how this is going to work out. Yeah, you don't. But love does. God does. You don't. So love, be here now. And then listen. It doesn't matter, and I think I've shared this with you before, and I'll share it again because it's a really valid point for me, is that I feel like, particularly because I speak so fast and listen fast, and so when someone says something, I feel like I have to immediately respond. Oh, they said something and I got so back and forth thing, so back and forth. But you don't. Just because someone says something or is asking you a question doesn't mean you have to immediately respond if what you want to say isn't available to you right now. And so you just can say, let me take a second on that. Let me think about that for a second, because I want to answer from my heart. So let me let love enter in and respond back. Or you don't have to even say anything. You just say, Don't have an answer for you right now. That's good enough. You don't have to have an answer just because somebody's asking a question. There seems to be this thing inside of us that says as soon as somebody asks a question, we're not, what is the word? We're not being legitimate, or we're not being true to ourselves, whatever it is, if we don't answer right away. Well, no. All the answers to the questions people have aren't on the top of your head. It's not what you're always thinking about. So you can give yourself an opportunity to do that. So, love, be here now. And one of the things I want to say about that is not only are we consciously connecting to God when we say love, be here now. That's one part. The other part is that we are confidently expecting love to be here and to give us what we need in the moment. So it's asking for that, and it's confidently expecting that. That's why I can do it all the time, because I know God's going to be here, not going to leave you hanging. So I was talking with I like to tell stories to try to bring the point home. And I was talking to some friends about friendship. And my grandson is here. My older, he's the oldest grandson. And he's here. He lives in Colorado, and he was here because my youngest grandson was in a play this weekend. He did a great job, by the way, and got great awards, and yeah. I'll show you pictures if anyone's interested. But anyway, so he came to support his young brother, and he has a friend who they have been friends for 13 years. And my grandson, my daughter-in-law, she was in the military, so they traveled a lot, they just like I did when I was growing up. So they were in Japan, and they were in Oklahoma, they were everywhere. And this young man that he knew when he was 13, and my grandson's in his 30s now, his mid-30s, they've been friends ever since. And it turns out that this young man lives in North Texas. And so he came down and brought his family to the play to support his friend, my older grandson, who was supporting his brother. And so the point of the story for me is that I sometimes envy people who have been in the same place for a long time. Like all these people who have lived in Fort Worth, and and you remember when it used to be this over there. Oh, that used to be this, and that used to be that, and this road wasn't even here, and this freeway wasn't even here. And I'm just now discovering, just certain things in this is right around the corner from me. And I think I'll be here for 30 years before I discover all the nooks and crannies. Oh, I know what it was. I went down to the stockyard and discovered that nice hotel that's down, the Drover. Oh my God, what a fabulous, awesome hotel. And that's not just, they didn't just build that. That's been there for a while, since I certainly have been here, and I'm just now discovering it. So sometimes I feel envious of people who have had the same friends forever. My son has a group of 5 guys that he's been friends since he was 9 years old. And they are still friends now. I'm not going to tell you his age because he wouldn't like that. That also tells my age, so I'm not going to tell that either. But they've been friends forever. And one of the reasons why he wanted to find a place that he could be and not move again was because he wants the same thing for his son, my youngest grandson. And he is now developing this group of friends that they hope to go to college together, go to high school together and college together, and just kind of be together. And so I sometimes envy that because I don't have that. And I think about, so when I think about that, it's like, how does friendship actually work? Like, how is it because you're together all the time and you've just kind of grown together and you like things about each other and all of that? Is that what it is? But no, not necessarily. I have traveled all over the world, and I've been doing it since I was a kid. And there are people in my life that I haven't seen for 5 years, 10 years. But when I think of them and I pick up the phone or I pick up the WhatsApp and call them or write to them, it's like no time has passed. No time has passed whatsoever. So I count on Spirit all the time to guide me to when I need to pick up the phone or send an email or touch bases with those people, because I don't see them every day. I don't see them every year. But there comes a time in that Spirit said, hey, call Debs, call Sonia, call Kim, not Kim here, the Kim that lives she lives in Australia. I have never been to her home in Australia. She's not been to my home here. But I would call her one of my best friends in the world. So that's kind of how I stay connected, because I count on Spirit to keep our hearts connected, to let me know when it is time for it's taken to, you need to touch base, they need to hear from you now. If Spirit can do that, and Spirit does, then do you understand in each moment of every day that you're in, when you need Spirit to show up, all you got to do is say, love, be here now. Love, be here now, and it's right here for you. That's how close it is. That's how much you can depend on it. That's how powerful it is to keep you connected with everyone you want to be connected with. And I would love to be connected, intentionally connected with everyone that I run into. And sometimes it's not as easy because, not everyone is someone that you just want to hang out with. Sometimes they're difficult. Maybe it is someone that you hang out with, that you want to hang out with, but, they've hurt your feelings. Not intentionally, but they've hurt your feelings. It's like, do I want to make myself available for that, right? Because, people are doing what they're doing. And if I get my feelings hurt, then I just think about, okay, well, I can't change them. And this is something that Ayala Van Zandt said. She said, you don't get to tell people how to love. They love how they love. All you can do is decide whether that is acceptable to you, whether you want to be in relationship. That is the only decision you get to make. Well, if I love someone, I will decide, yes, I don't like being treated this way, so I may pull back and not make myself available for this pain all the time, but I love them. I don't want to be particularly around family. I'm just saying, I'm trying to be real. Yeah. And so love, be here now. And the thing that you said, Craig, in your meditation, you either said it or I heard it. Either way, you know what I mean? But you said, what I heard was, you said, imagine the prettiest flower, the most fragrant. And for me, it was a rose. It was a rose. And I just thought, when I'm not feeling that good about someone, but I want to reach out and love them, in my mind, I could just, when I see them, I could just hand them a rose. You know what I mean? In my mind, just reach to them with a rose, because that is a beautiful sign of love. And so if someone's being, you're irritated by them, but you still want to love them, because this, again, because we're human beings, all right? We're not walking on water. We're on this planet with our own bodies and egos and all the kind of things, and we do get our feelings hurt, but I don't think that's anyone's intention. I don't believe people wake up in the morning and say, let me just see how I can mess with PJ today. Let's see now. Come on now. That isn't... I know. Yeah, I wasn't actually asking for suggestions. Thank you. I don't...
Check your chair for a thumbtack.
But I don't think that happens. It's just where you are and how you see things. And I choose to see love. I choose to see the truth about them, that we are connected. And I'm going to hand them a rose in my own mind. I believe that changes the energy around us when I do that. And so I just feel like it changes the energy. So that's what I'm going to do. That's what I say you can do. So love, be here now. It isn't just about the present moment. It's about your whole life and everyone that's involved in your life and how you can stay connected if that's what you want. Conscious connection is what brings about peace of mind for me. Consciously connection brings about peace of mind for me. That's what I think love does. It brings peace to me when I know that I'm loving as much as I can. And whether you accept it or not doesn't matter. That's not the point. It's not a tit for tat. It's not transactional. It's because I love you, because I see who you really are. And I believe that you and I are one. And that's how I can do it in my mind, right? Bring that to no matter what is going on. And so the other story that I want to tell you is, again, I was watching my grandson. And he really is marvelous. For those of you who have not seen him, again, I have lots of pictures. But for those of you who have seen him, he actually is just a fabulous kid. He's 14 years old, and he's amazing. He won a couple of awards because they had a UIL yesterday, and he won, the school won, and he won the best actor. Yeah, it was awesome. It was really awesome. And so anyway, but when I went to see a preview of it Friday night, 'cause yesterday was Saturday. So Friday night, the whole family just joined him, and we went to go see him. We couldn't hardly hear. Like they just weren't projecting. The kids weren't projecting a lot, and there was a lot of stuff going on. Just a lot of movement on the stage. They were trying to move props around. There was a lot of movement. So, on Saturday morning, my kids called, my son and my daughter-in-law, and they said, "So what did you think? What did you think about the play?" And I said, "Well, I just took a breath, and I asked George to put the words in my mouth, so I could say what I felt needed to be said." And so I said, "Well, I'm prejudiced. I think my grandson is amazing. I think he's amazing. More than that, I believe, because my son is a footballer. He wants his grandson, because he's a big kid, he's the biggest kid in the school, and he wants him to be a footballer." And I said, "I think that he needs to go to a school of the arts, because the joy in this boy's face, in his whole body, when he is on stage acting, he spends all of his time learning his lines, learning his moves. He has so much joy. He will do football because he knows his father, wants him to. And he's a good kid. So he'll go out there and do it, but his heart's not in it." And so I said, because my boy was saying, "Well, it'd be football and then acting." And I said, "I don't think so. I think it's no football and all acting." Okay? And so, do with it what you will. And they just started laughing. They go, "Yeah." And my son said, "Yeah, unfortunately, that is true." That's true. And so they're making arrangements for the wife to work less, so she can take him around to all of the stuff that he needs to do and all this, and get him enrolled in a school of the arts, because that's what I'm not going to lie. I know what you want to hear, but I'm going to tell you what I know for sure. I'm going to tell you what I know for sure, what love does. And I could see the love in this boy when he's doing this, and everyone can. And not only is the family, we could hardly get to my grandson, for everyone, not just kids, adults, everyone, just surrounding this kid and wanting to be around him. He's just that bright of a light. What? It's obvious what he should be doing. You just want me to approve of this stupid thing that you got going on with the football? That's your dream. That's not your son's dream. All right. And so, do you want him to have his dream or your dream? Which one is it? That could have caused a riff, but I was willing to say it because it's the truth, and it's what Spirit told me to say. But it's also apparently what they were fishing around to hear, because they needed to make that move, and they just wanted some support about that. So this is what goes on. This is what love is. You do what's yours to do. You ask Spirit, "Love, be here." Love, not ego, not anything else. Love, be here now. And I know what love is for that boy, and I know that my son and daughter-in-law love him and want the best for him, even though what he wants isn't. I think my daughter-in-law does what my son didn't, but he's going to give over to it because he knows it's the truth, and he loves his son. That's what love does. That's what love does. So, what do we do? How do we let love be here now? All of us have situations where we're faced with speaking the truth in love. We don't back away from that, but to ask Spirit to be here now, let Spirit speak, spirit to spirit. It's not ego to ego, it's spirit to spirit. That's what love be here now does, okay? So do what's necessary, but ask God to speak for you, through you, okay, through you. So here are the action steps. How do you have love be here now? The first thing is you have to breathe. Just take a breath. Just take a breath. Because you're in the middle of something. Just take a breath. Take a breath. Number 2, listen. Take a breath and say, love, be here now. Breathe, love, be here now. Breathe, love, be here now. Second thing is listen. Listen with your heart. What is love telling you? And then have the courage to do that, to follow that advice. Okay? So it's breathe and ask for love to be here now. Listen, and then do what love is telling you to do. That's it. That is it. If you have experience with Spirit, the more experience you have with Spirit, the more you understand this is the way to go. And you understand what it sounds like, what it looks like when God is speaking to you. What it looks like. It's not you, it's Spirit. So I've made a little acronym to myself, and I have no idea what this means. It's love, be here now. LBHN. Okay. I do that a lot. I'm like, what are you talking? What is this little note you wrote to yourself? So love, be here now is just a conscious awareness of God and a connection to God in others all the time. That's what you want in every situation, in your whole life, in your prayers, wherever you want to be consciously aware of God in you, as you, informing and guiding you. Just say, love, be here now. Love, be here now. It isn't only about the present moment. It's for your entire life. Love, be here now. Be in my life. We are always connected to God, to each other, because we are individualized expression. We have no, it's like saying you're not connected to the blood that's running through you. It doesn't make, you are. You're automatically, you are that. It's just a matter of remembering and being consciously connected, which brings about peace of mind. I don't have to worry. When I ask God to be here now, I don't have to worry. I just allow God to speak through me, and that's what I'm doing. I'm not using God to say ugly things. Well, God told me to tell you that, Jessica. No. None of that nonsense. So let me leave you with a couple of quotes. If we learn to open our hearts, anyone, including the people who drive us crazy, can be our teacher and lead us to love. The second quote, Wayne Dyer, what love is. Love is the ability and willingness to allow those you care for, those in your life for whatever reason, to be what they choose for themselves. So we're not trying to make people over. Let them be who they choose to be for themselves without any insistence that they satisfy you. Okay? They don't need to speak the way I want to be spoken. They don't need to do any of that. Okay? Just love them exactly where they are, how they're showing up, whatever's going on. Just let love be in the way. My final thoughts to you. Love is all that matters. You know that. That's what I believe. It's what I know. It's how I live. Love is all that matters. It's all there really is. Love is a state of reverence and the process of revelation. Love brings about revelation. If you let love be your truth, if you set your expectations to see love in everything, everlasting peace is yours. It is yours. Peace is a state of bliss, and it is the process of illumination. And so it is. Let's talk.